Hey, I'm Jason, and in this video I'm going to show you how to convert a Kato SD70MAC to DCC using the TCS K1D4. Just a side note, this particular decoder is good for the Kato, let's see, the SD40, SD70, 75, GE C44, and the GE AC4400W. So you can actually use this decoder for many different models. And so this video will apply to all those, obviously. And just a side note, TCS decoders, I'm not being paid by either of these companies. I'm not being sponsored. But just my personal opinion, I think TCS is the best decoder on the market. About half of my fleet currently has Digitrax, and I have problems with those decoders all the time, whether it's read-write errors, can't get them to program half the time. So I'm slowly converting my whole fleet over to TCS. I have about half that's Digitrax, and I'm converting to TCS, and then the other half have nothing in them, so I'm converting those to DCC with TCS right off the bat. So anyways, and locomotives, as far as Kato is concerned, I don't think you can buy a better N-scale locomotive. And I guess that's worth pointing out. This is an N-scale decoder, N-scale locomotive. So let's convert this thing. It's gonna be really simple. You'll probably be surprised. All right, so I got the locomotive pulled out here. First thing we'll do is we'll open up our decoder. It's another thing I liked about TCS. They take the time to actually static bag these decoders, where some of the other companies will just wrap them in plastic, and if it's not ESD plastic, there's a possibility of them getting damaged from ESD. So, anyways, I like what these guys are doing. All right, so when it comes to the Katos, they're pretty simple. Really, what you do is you're just going to grab the bottom and the top shell, and you're just going to wiggle, and it pops right off like that. It's that simple. Here, I'll do it again. Pop it back on. It's not all the way on, but you wiggle a little bit, and it comes right off, just like that. That simple. It's not any more complicated than that. Alright, so when you look at the locomotive with the default light board in here, you're going to see that this board has two LEDs. This LED extends off to the back here. And it's important to note that this is the front, this is the back, but you really can't put this decoder in backwards, but it's worth just remembering that that's the orientation that it goes. Okay. So, to take the old decoder board out, you'll notice that there's a little notch here and here. It means there's some room for this board to slide, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to take this board and we're going to slide it, lift up, and it pops right out, just like that. It's that simple. It's really just that simple. They've really made these not only easy to work on, but when it comes to converting them, they couldn't have done a better job at giving the aftermarket guys an easy way to convert these things over. So anyways, there's your old analog light board. I hang on to mine just for in case maybe someday. So I toss that aside, but I'll keep it saved. Okay, so for our new decoder, we are going to essentially oops, let me get the right direction. Okay, we are essentially going to repeat that process, but we got a couple things to do. One, these contacts have the potential to rub against the frame right here, and that's not good. So what I do is I use Kapton tape, and actually I'll have to use the narrow stuff for this, but this Kapton tape, I'm gonna lay down some Kapton tape right there on the locomotive frame. This stuff's pretty inexpensive. You can get it in a lot of places, eBay. I think you can even get it on Amazon. I might have even gotten this on Amazon. So I laid down that first piece of tape right there. I'm going to lay down a second piece, but I'm going to do it this direction so you can actually see it now. Okay. So I've got two pieces of tape on there covering that, and cut them a little long. And you'll see why here in a second. So after I cut them long, I'm going to fold these down. I'm going to bend these down so that they are touching the sides of the frame, not just the top of the frame, but the sides. Okay, and then what you want to do is you just want to come back and you just want to trim that tape. You want to trim it so that way you don't have any excess hanging over. And the reason you want to trim this is that if you leave this long, it's over top the contact here. And if it's over top the contact, you are likely to not have your decoder make contact. So sometimes tweezers are a big help here. There we go. Alright, so as you can see here, I've insulated the top of the frame, both the top and the sides, but I'm not overlapping over that copper contact, or actually it's I think it's brass contact. Okay, now the other thing to take note is on this side the contact is going down like this. On this side the contact is coming up like this. So when you go put the decoder on the opposite side, obviously when you put this down, this is going to rub right against that contact and it's going to push it down. This side, it's not going to do that because it's facing up. So what we'll have to do is, as we're putting this decoder on, we'll actually have to push this contact up to make sure it goes underneath or the back side of this contact on the decoder. So we want that contact to be inside, because it's using spring force to make contact with this. That's why they kind of stick out when the decoder is when the light board or the decoder is not there. You can see those contacts stick out because it's using spring force to make contact with these contacts. So that's one of the little things we just have to be careful when we're putting this on. So you actually have to get this front end started first, just slightly, get that started, and then I pinch this in, and you see how I slide it underneath that contact, and of course this side automatically. And then once it's seated flat, you're just going to push forward a little, just like that, and you'll actually kind of positively kind of snap into place. Don't press too hard. This board is very thin, and it would be easy to snap this board if you push way too hard. So I just kind of use my thumb and my finger to kind of guide it and just kind of gently pop it back into place. Now that we've done that, all we have to do is put our shell back on. Now, one thing to pay attention to when putting the shell back on, there's these two little nubs right here. There's two on each side. Those will actually go over this little lip right here, and they don't always pop back into place, so sometimes I have to use a knife or something to just gently, and yeah, in this case they're not. So okay, so I'm gonna just gently use the back side of the blade here to just kind of pull this out a little bit, just slightly. Hopefully you could, trying to do the camera angle, so there we go. And you'll see how it snaps on either side. This one over here is being just a little finicky. Let me turn this around. There we go. And once those snap into place on all four, on both sides, the shell is on there now. Now it doesn't mean you can't take it back off, because you can pop the shell right back off. But that's all you have to do, and now you see that the chassis is going to stay in place. It's not going to just fall off. If those little tabs are not back in place, the chassis will fall right out of the casing there. So, okay. So that is how you convert a Kato SD70MAC using a TCS drop-in decoder. Thanks for watching. Keep subscribed to this channel for more train videos, and we'll see you next time.